Hello, my name is Valerie Johnson, and today I am talking with Matt Suhayda. Welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to first start with asking a little bit about your background. Where were you born? Where were you raised?
I was born in Florissant, Missouri. My family then relocated out to St. Charles, Missouri. I moved out after high school, and then I started going to college at the community college out there. After a little bit of the community college, I decided to go to Lindenwood University.
Well, we're glad that you're here at Lindenwood University. And what is your major and why?
I'm going into mass communications. I'm basically going to be using my degree as a backup. What I'm really wanting to do is get into script writing. I have about 7 ideas on the boiler, and I got one about, I would say, 50% done. That's what my biggest ambition is right now, is to write a screenplay.
Okay, now you've said something that interests me when you started mentioning about script writing. How long have you been script writing?
I've been script writing for quite some time. I would say about 4 years now.
Okay, good.
I've been hatching ideas left and right, and it's just it's a long process. The reason why it's taken me so long to do my first one actually is because I have to balance a lot of stuff at once, between school, between work, spending time with friends and giving everybody their attention that they need as well, things like that. It does take a while though. There's a lot of detail and attention that you have to pay attention to whenever you are writing a script. You can't just go through the motions. Every idea's got to be thought out and then elaborated on and quantified as many times as you can possibly think. So it's a lot of hard work. Absolutely,
I can understand that. I know, just having spoken with several other writers, a lot of writers have regimens. And they have that particular room or that particular setting that will kind of bring that creativity out.
Right.
What is your regimen?
For me, it's just kind of like, it depends on what I'm actually writing, to be honest with you. If I was going to write comedy, then I would obviously be in like lighter places, surround myself with people I enjoy my time with, create ideas with that type of setting. If I'm going to be writing, let's say, darker stuff like thrillers or psychological thrillers, which is what I mainly work on, dramas, things like that. Then what I'll tend to do is sometimes I'll turn the lights off in the room and I'll type on my typewriter, or not typewriter, but my computer, and I'll maybe listen to some really eerie music or something to get me in the mood, you know what I mean? Creating the mood for myself and then put me in a dark place helps me write darker things.
Now it sounds like, and from what I understand, that writing psychodrama, writing things of that theme is more of how you define yourself. That's more, you can write more freely psychodrama than you would comedy.
Right.
Where does that derive from?
Well, there's a lot that has to do with it, really. For example, I grew up watching more of these type of movies than anything else I've watched before. Most of the movies that I do watch that are psychodrama or psychological thrillers, let's say, for example, they are my favorite movies as well. I watch them more than once, quite frequently. Not only that, but whenever I'm listening to music or whatever, I'll also image things in my head that goes with the music, so I put like a sequential order to things as music plays. Like whenever you hear a drum kick or something, I'll think of an exciting event or something like that.
Okay, because you're using terminology like drum kick and music, genre.
Right.
What is your favorite music genre?
Actually, to be honest with you, I like all types of music. A long time ago, I was really limited to certain things, but since I started opening my mind to more artistic things as opposed to just psychological thrillers and like comedies and other genres like that, I also grew artistically in other areas as well. I like symphony music a lot. I like rap music, R&B music. I like rock music, alternative music, pretty much anything you can think of. I've listened to and I like.
But the type music that really jogs your creativity when it comes to screenwriting, what genre?
Music.
Symphony music.
Correct, yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So what other hobbies do you have outside of screenwriting?
Outside of screenwriting, I work on productions, like I'm a PA right now, so I try and find work with other people that are involved in film. I try to network through people and, you know, bounce ideas off of them, get ideas from them. I try to focus on what I want to do with my future. So mainly, you know, along the lines of film. Pretty much everything I'm wanting to do is going to be with film.
Okay.
My school as well, that's something else that I pretty much would consider a hobby, I would guess. Most of my time is devoted to my work and school. So those are the most important things in my life right now.
That sounds really good, Matt. Well, thank you, Matt, for talking with me today. And we're going to take a short break, but we'll return in just a few moments.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Welcome back to In the Mix. And our guest today is Matt Suhayda. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, we were talking about your screenwriting previously, but you had mentioned some goals that you may have for the future. I want to get more into that and talk about what specifically, what are your goals, whether it's inclusive of the screenwriting or even outside of that?
Okay.
What are your future goals?
Well, screenwriting is a big portion of what I want to do with my future. I guess the ultimate plan that I have set up for myself would be to sell a couple screenplays. Hopefully I'm successful in doing so. And after I sold so many screenplays and made money off of that, I would probably start my own production and direct movies as well. I've always took a liking to directing. Whenever I watch movies, for example, I watch them in aesthetic ways.
Sure.
I break down, you know, direction, the lighting, sound, all these different type of things that you would see in a movie. Not everybody analyzes a movie like I do, and that's why I feel like it would be a very good job for me to have. It'd be fun for me, I think. And I'm really interested in getting into something like that. There's a bunch of directors that I like in particular that have influenced me to want to get into the business. Christopher Nolan being one of them.
Okay.
David Fincher being one of them. They have certain styles that they have made throughout all the films that they have directed. A lot of their style, though, is kind of the way I think of when I'm writing a screenplay, or it's kind of the direction that I think I might take on whenever I wanted to direct as well.
Now, do they direct dramas, or is it the cycle type drama, or is it
psychological thrillers?
Psychological thrillers.
Dramas,
Okay.
yes. Some are, well, most of them actually are fictional stories that you would see. But the best thing about them, though, is they're extremely creative. For example, Christopher Nolan, he writes with his brother, and a lot of the stuff that they write together, it's totally original. There's not very many other movies like their movies that you see. He did just remake the Batman series. It's supposed to be the biggest franchise of Batman to this date. It's doing very well in all the theaters. I believe they just released the last one, and it's been out for quite some time. They're doing very, very significant things with film today.
Now, I listened to you. You stated moments ago that when you watch films, you're paying a lot of attention to the aesthetics. And so is it the sound in particular? Is it the lighting? What is it that you're really paying attention to and you're saying that actually helps you in your screenwriting? Tell me more about that.
Well, I pay attention to everything. Lighting has a big chunk of everything I'm doing. For example, the way a certain scene is lit, it gives you a type of feeling whenever you're watching a movie. Whenever you hear, let's say, sound effects, whenever you're walking down a dark alley or something, those sound effects actually add to the scene as well. Everything inside the movie is there for a reason. Everything adds to the movie. So I pay attention to pretty much everything that's, is important, because it's all important in movies. There's not one thing in particular that's bigger than any other thing. I would say the thing I'm more infatuated with, if anything, is story. If you have a really good story from beginning to end, then you have a really good idea on your hands, obviously.
Okay, let's talk about that. You also stated that you're very analytical. And as you're speaking now and you're saying if it's a really good story from beginning to end, what constitutes to you, Matt Suhayda, what constitutes a really good story?
I would say not only would the story have to be entertaining, but it'd be something that everybody can learn from as well. The story also, it's not very simple. If you have something complex, something that somebody can learn from, something that's very entertaining, if you have all these qualities inside of a story, then I believe that would be what constitutes a good story. Not all stories that have these are necessarily good. There are some stories that can be bad. There is the auteur theory that there are no bad movies. They're just bad directors. The same thing with good movies. There's no good movies, there's good directors. So good directors and bad directors stand out because of the movies that you watch. It's not because they're necessarily bad movies or good movies, it's because of how the director actually directed the movies themselves.
Well, thanks, Matt, and we appreciate your time here. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure as our audience has as well. I'm Valerie Johnson. I'll see you the next time on In the Mix.